And welcome to FMK Anime, everyone. I'm your host, Meek, joined by my co-hosts, Lacan and Dalaron. You can find me on Twitter at soul_king777, being a gremlin and calling out the Gucci man for being a nice guy.
Damn, did you do it again?
I'm going to do it again.
You motherfucker.
Motherfucker. Where can they find you, Gucci man?
Mr. Gucci is on Twitter at
hate you all.
_Viking. Apparently being called out for being a good guy. Lies and slander, all of it.
Guys, how did you not get a fucking picture of the... Anyway. Oh, hi. You guys can catch me over at Dalaron Quest, literally everywhere, on the YouTubes, on the Twitters, and here on the Twitch. I stream Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays. Mondays, as for you lovely folks catching us live, we do our FMK podcast. Thank you for coming. Hello, hello. Tuesdays, you guys can come catch us around 7 or 8 p.m. EST for D&D. I guess I should probably mention for those of you who are listening in on the YouTube, anime is around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Every Monday, we do a slow burn kind of a D&D campaign more focused on like social simulation and role playing. On Tuesdays around 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on Fridays around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we do fighting games. Usually every other Friday, but that schedule is a little bit inconsistent. Where where I do lose, learn, win. Where I get my ass handed to me by people who are better than me at fighting games until I figure out the mechanics of fighting games and actually get good.
Lose, learn, win.
Yeah, you can.
No win.
No win.
Yeah, you can find them literally everywhere, even in your bed.
I mean,
for the right price.
You know, I know what you provide now.
Upside
as
down,
always,
jumping off the ceiling.
Well, as always, I would like to thank Team 4-Star for allowing us to do this experience. It has been a lot of fun, and they have been a big inspiration to me, as well as, I want to say, Dal and the Gucci man.
Oh, yes.
And to just explain what FMK Anime is, we watch a list of anime each week, and at the end of the week, we can cut one, but we don't have to. If a show gets 2 knives, it dies. But if it gets less than 2 knives, it doesn't die. And let's just start off by reading us into Vivy, Fluorite Ice Song, Episode 9. Matsumoto does battle with Antonio, while Vivy battles with Tokuboy, also known as Mr. Kakitani. Kakitani, now an AI, tries to get an answer out of Vivy if AI are trying to be human. He uploads a virus into her, erasing the personality known as Diva, causing Vivy's memories to come back. And Matsumoto defeats Antonio and Ophelia, learning that they just wanted to serve each other and not their mission. In the end, Diva carries out her final song while Vivy comes back. While Vivy's memories come back.
I think saying Vivy comes back is accurate.
Yeah. God, okay, I just want to start off with that final scene. Was I the only one that teared up? Well,
No, I absolutely teared up.
Okay, I'm happy. Oh, Diva! Oh, she's just talking like, yeah, no, he's our partner. You take care of each other. It's okay to bicker, but you're here for each other. And I finally found what was missing from my voice, so that makes me happy. It's just like, no, Diva, honey, no.
Yeah. It was an oof. We got 5 deaths this episode. Well,
5?
Four.
Yeah. Because I was just about to say, like, hey, this is the fucking record now. We have a 4 times grand slam of the sad character death in one episode.
Chihuahua, no bueno, it hurts a lot.
I mean, I wouldn't say Kakitani's was sad.
No,
really,
I agree.
really,
His
He
thing.
liked playing the piano, and his teacher died.
Yeah. Let's talk about this dumb motherfucker, shall we? I hate
I
this stupid, contrived, obtuse piece of shit.
I hate him. More depth to his motivation, talking about how
Seriously.
if they wanted to treat AIs as human, why at their funerals play their last moments of their death? That's
That
not dignified.
that was the only that was like one apart from the fight itself, but we'll get to that too. That was like the one thing that I was like, okay, cool, finally that's something concrete and solid. Where are we gonna go from there? Why are you AIs pretending to be human? And I'm like, oh my fucking god, you're not in. Okay, like I I can't tell if I'm being hyperbolic, but I am failing to articulate my point for humor's sake, and I'm also not a fan of it. Um, this guy's just not interesting to me at all. Like, he screams of the writers being like, pay attention to me, like pay attention to this. This is dramatic. This is important. But it never felt like he really had any emotional gravity or presence.
I don't know. I liked it when he was talking to Diva, like, no, give me a break. You're Diva. That mission belongs to Vivy, you bitch. Like, I don't know. I liked it when he was, because he's very much a control freak. He wants things to be his way, and
Mm.
if when things don't go his way, he starts to lose control, and he very much is. Like, we make the joke, but he is kind of a raging conservative, because he's trying to tell you how you should be and how you should act. He's trying to tell you your place in this world. Like, you're a diva. Your mission is this. It's not, that belongs to Vivy. And he's very much, like, as much as we make the joke, he kind of is a raging conservative.
I wouldn't say so. He's a guy who is heavily traumatized and gone fucking crazy from it.
Oh yeah, no, he's absolutely fucking mental. But actually, I agree with me. But I
Yeah.
think there's a good point to be made in what he just said. Because remember, we have to look at, especially with this kind of show, like it's definitely meant to be both artistic and social commentary. Like there's the abstract of it, which is what Meep just talked about, and I agree with, and then there's the concrete, actual show, which is what you said, Makan, and I agree with.
And what I actually found the most interesting about him is about how he basically confirms there's another time traveler.
Yeah. So, yeah. The show is just like, what does that mean? And I'm like, yes, motherfucker. Like, why is the show beating around the bush? It's so obvious that there is another influence from the outside, from the future.
Well, see, the way he phrased it, I think he may have been manipulated. Like, I don't know, maybe he had a chip in his brain and someone was speaking through his brain, like, old CIA, like, conspiracy theories. I don't think someone actually came up to him and went, hey, I'm a time traveler, you'll get this there in the future. Nah, I think he was manipulated into it, because throughout this whole arc, Matsumoto has been going, man, this tech is just as advanced as me, or it's not of this era. And, like, the whole time, like, yeah, no, where has this tech been coming from? Oh, Sakitani isn't supposed to be in this timeline? Oh, he was told that he'd have a chance 40 years in the future? Huh.
Yeah.
I think Antonio, it was as simple as a virus, kind of warping and changing his mission. And for Tokeboy, or Yugo, as his actual name is, he spent his entire time fucking dealing with his own trauma and going fucking insane while being manipulated by fucking everyone.
Yep. He even admits he joined Toke because he, like, I'm forgetting the exact way he phrased it, but the way
He
he
said
phrased
he
very much
joined.
did seem like a,
He said he joined Toke because it was a bunch of extremists who were against AIs becoming human, and that aligned with my ideals. So I joined them, and it gave me an outlet for like all my anger and pain. And I'm like, okay, that's good. But why does it still feel like you're not really surmising into anything concrete?
Because his character plotline is not really concrete. It's all over the place, and if I'm perfectly honest, not very logical in any fucking way.
No, yeah, I agree with Makan. Like the thing is though, at the end of the day, I think that's what it was for me. That he never felt consistent. Like his overall thing never felt concrete. Like the points you were making didn't always flow for me. Like I don't know if it's like subtext that you were mentioning earlier, but like him being upset at the funeral, like decide, do you treat him as a thing or treat him as a person? Like stop doing this weird in between. But like that was
Yeah.
never nothing is explored with him. That's another thing.
Well, it's the thing with the funeral made sense to me because if you're playing someone's final moments, that is very undignifying. Like, I wouldn't want someone to play a video of me getting shot at my funeral. That would be that would be crossing so many boundaries.
I don't know.
Yeah, sure, but if they sure, but let me make a point. If someone, if they fucking showed video footage of my grandfather's last living moments, I wouldn't go out and start shooting everyone's grandfather.
Also, it needs to be said that like they were showing this AI's moments as they were saving people, right? Like it's not them getting wrecked or dying in a hospital bed. Like no one wants to that's snuffish. Like that's rude. There's a who's that? Do you have
Sorry, I was just gonna.
Do you have your fan on?
No.
Or any kind of like AC or fan or anything? Because there's was a bit of a wind tunnel kind of sound coming in.
Let me try something real quick.
Yeah. But yeah, like they were showing him being a hero.
Yeah, but you have to remember, Kakitani didn't want his teacher to be saving people in the first place.
Yeah, but fuck him.
Like with what? No, with what? Like I'm not saying he's a good person. He's a bad guy. Like,
okay, you're saying he didn't want it. That's why he was upset. Yeah.
Yeah, like to his motivations, while they're not good, I can see how he got there, and I don't know. I found it engaging personally, and the reveal of another time traveler makes me really, really excited.
You say reveal, vague hints, because the show might not deliver on that. You just might be setting up big
How?
bullshit.
How can the show not deliver on it? How can it possibly not give us that?
When it's spreading its butthole.
It set up a giant fucking anti-AI organization and then showed us one guy from it for the entire series.
I
mean, throughout the show, like I did sort of realize with this episode, the focus was never Toke. It was always Toke Boy, like the boy from Toke.
Yeah, but that's a bad thing.
I actually liked his plotline and everything in the end. It's not the most perfect thing in the world, but in the end I thought it delivered well enough on what I wanted from him. We got his motivations. We got a really, really good fight scene. We got more hints of things to come and more things to look forward to, and we got very good development with Matsumoto and Vivy, because even like him going, Matsumoto going, the answers. We have to go over them. And Diva going, my song is the answer to that. And when that happened, I actually read the lyrics of the song, and it's like, oh, that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
I wanted to read the lyrics of the song at that point, but there was also a conversation going on, so I had to choose which one I was focusing on.
Or you could replay it.
I could, but at that point, I was like, I don't have time to watch more, and I'd rather not go back and replay it.
Come on, man! You didn't have enough time to watch like a 2-minute song.
Probably could have, but I didn't want to.
It's essentially just a song about how Vivy and Matsumoto have overcome thousands of storms, and then it turns into a song about how she never knew that side of her, but she's so happy that she's finally found what was missing. It's essentially what the song is.
Yeah.
It's really sweet, and well, Kakitani himself isn't the most engaging antagonist. Like, I wouldn't nominate him for best antagonist or anything. I still enjoyed what they did with him for the most part, and he was a device for a really good fight and a really interesting like subtext / reveal of things to come.
Yeah, I know. Like the thing is, before we get to the fight, just to finish my points on this guy, it's like this show knows how to do good fights. First and foremost, like just choreography and like dynamic action, so good, and we'll get to that in a second. But like, it also knows how to convey emotion in its fights, not only through its sound design and everything, but just the actual dialogue. Point in case, Beth versus Elizabeth and Vivy, like that Estella scream, that Beth scream of Estella, still rings in all of our ears. But here you have this character who's emoting so much, and there is a lot of emotion and passion and rage in their voice, and it all falls flat. A lot of it falls flat for me. Like,
Yeah.
Is it possible that it might be because of your distaste to him before this episode?
no, it's just because I've had no form. I myself have not experienced how do I put this? Empathy toward him. There's no connection. He just is. Like, I don't have a concrete understanding. There is no sympathy or empathy for me. His motivations don't fully click in my head. Or at least, I mean, I understand them, right? I understand what they are, but they don't feel valid to me. And
I can explain to you why that is. Because of how poorly written he is, every AI character we've interacted with is more human than he is.
well,
I think that's the tragedy of him. Him being so radical, it cost him his humanity.
I like that. And yeah, while the beginning of what you said, McConnell, was harsh, I think he's right. And Meep, that's yeah.
Like that's kind of, to me, that's the point of him. Is I don't think you're supposed to empathize with him. I think you're supposed to go, how sad is it to have fallen so far to be such a piece of garbage at the bottom of the well? Like, that's what I thought. That's what I think when I watch that fight, is how far must you have fallen to be that big of a piece of garbage to try and fulfill your own goals and wants. And when he said there are people that have suffered because you existed, it doesn't even click for him that the same goes for him. It doesn't even click. Like, he's that self-centered and that stuck in his beliefs.
No, I take that as from his experience. Like, people have suffered because of what I've done. It's the same for you. Is kind of how that sentence came over for me.
True.
I think he also always had a kind of thing where he's just like, "You're not better than me, Vivy," kind of shitty situation, which makes sense. He's kind of like a shitling. So miserable people will constantly look at other people, even if they try to help them, and see that as them being better, as if they think they're better than them. But it's really an internal insecurity, and they're just projecting their own insecurity on others because they feel like they're, whatever. Point is, Coke Boy continued to be the least interesting part of the show for me up until the very end up until his very end.
Yep. I actually want to say my piece on Tokeboy and why I consider him such a bad character. His motivation is that he wants to kill all AI because his teacher, who was an AI, died. But the entire reason why that was so important was to him because his teacher was a person to him. It was someone he looked up to, respected, and saw as a peer, and a fellow human being, really, if you think of how he acted with it. And then he turned going, AI shouldn't be humans, for the first few episodes. Then Vivid saved him from a boat, and then he turned, no, go, do your mission, I'll be stoic hero. And then we see him 40 years ago. Again, he's just reverted to being screeching about that you're an AI, you shouldn't be human.
I really don't think that
on the boat episode, he wasn't being like, oh no, AIs shouldn't be humans. He's, again, it was you're the only one that can do this, and you're Vivy. Vivy's mission is to stop the war between AI, sure.
Yeah.
That's why he has the distinction between Diva and Vivy in this episode. Like, he's going, no, you're Diva. That's not your mission. That's Vivy's mission.
Also, furthermore, there's the whole situation, like, on the boat, he's just like, at the end, he will still, like, fold, because he's pissed off. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just do your fucking mission. Stop, like, doing all this extra shit. But, when it came push to shove it, like, you're gonna die if you do this, he's like, okay, fine, go do whatever the fuck you want, but I think you're wrong for doing it, and I hate you for it. I'm like, he's a miserable piece of little shit, and I highly dislike him.
And that's the beauty of him for me. It's just how far someone has fallen to get to that point.
And listen, man, I'm glad that you get that from him, but like for me personally, it's not that like his motivation doesn't make sense. Like, yeah, I understand it. It makes sense. I just don't find it valid.
And
He
that
didn't
it's
even,
not.
for me, he
It's
didn't
not.
even fall. He was just always a piece of shit, and then he was just more of a piece of shit after things went bad for him, and he just became worse and worse with it. And like, I don't hate him. I'm just disappointed that his character was not handled better because it
Mm,
could have been handled so much better.
yeah, but we
And
can only judge the show for what it was given us, and at this point, this is what we have been given.
sure, but I have seen so many things that could have changed the show for the better in my eyes, so I will actually keep judging it for what I thought it could have been.
I mean, that is your right to do so. But I
Yep.
will. I question what the fuck came out of his head when he died in quotation marks.
I don't
I
fuck.
think that was supposed to be his. I think that was supposed to be his brain in a jar.
Yeah, so he did just like plug his brain into him into a robot, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we can speculate, but it was just a black tube.
I'm assuming it was either a central computer or something because he he's less an AI and more an android, I guess. But I this is me assuming, but I'm assuming whatever force that's trying to intervene in the Singularity Project was what gave him that technology to do that.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, you do know about what you were saying. You know that Vivy is an android, right?
Well, no, she's
No, she's not.
and or
Oh
wait, no,
wait, no,
cyborg.
android. Yeah,
Cyborg is the
yeah, yeah,
cyborg.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm thinking DBZ androids were DBZ
No,
androids.
they were cyborgs.
Yeah. No. Yeah, no, he's more of a cyborg, it seemed, because he doesn't have that neck thing, and his skin isn't pale like the other AI.
And notice about the neck thing and his skin being pale. I mean, some AIs have more darker skin,
Yeah,
from
yeah,
what
yeah.
but
Yeah.
not
The thing is
completely
though,
dark.
he seemed
Um,
to be a human brain in a robot suit with his robot arm
yeah, sure,
that
he didn't
turns
have
into
the
gun.
sure it didn't have the blinking light, and he is not organic in any way anymore. There, he's an android.
But he still has his human brain.
Oh, well, he still has his thoughts the way they were, but his mindset works the same way the AIs work. He's solely focused on his mission, and whatever he does apart from that is whatever the fuck the AI can think up to deviate while still being inside of that mission parameter.
I have a question. Did he really have a mission, or was that just him using this as an excuse to simultaneously become to like validate his own obsessiveness and also simultaneously mock AI?
I think it's a mixture of both. But he did say that his mission was to get an answer from Vivy, which I think, yeah, the question they wanted was to know. He wanted to know if his master would have suffered like a human had.
So yeah, I don't know, man. His whole like he's like it's my mission to know, and I'm like, I mean, actually, now I'm thinking about it, that does make more sense because it's like true to his beliefs and like what he thought about for it. Like, you know, his like single-minded AI should have one mission. So even if he wasn't an AI, it still would like
Yeah, he
coalesce
slowly and
with his.
gradually he slowly and gradually became what he hated.
He never hated it. He's just a hurt man. This guy is just a perfect example of how like people experience pain, don't heal, and then continue, like creating like what's the word? Not exhibiting. Whatever. It keeps.
Creating pain for others.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It continues to create the same pain for others. Like it's the vicious cycle. But I mean, like look at this like hateful face. They animated it very well.
And that's kind of what I like about his character. He's a very good like foil to Vivy who just wants to make people happy, and he exists to try and hurt people.
Mm.
I also want to bring up, it took me quite a few tries to get the shot because this face is on the screen for 2 frames.
Nice.
I need to take it in motion because otherwise you'll see the pause bar and pause in the time bar.
Yeah, yeah.
But hey, even if he didn't, And hey, it's fine if you don't like Tokeboy. I overall did, but we have hints of a different antagonist now, so there's that to look forward to.
We do.
Right. About that, I'll talk about my problems with that. Sure, he's a promise of Tokeboy's a promise about things to come, but introducing a new antagonist that we know nothing about in the 11th hour feels like not the right way to go.
I don't know.
No, no.
Some shows have done it well.
Yeah. I that actually felt normal. Like I'm like that landed interestingly on for me. I'm like, all right, cool. So now we have someone, because like this is leading up, for me this is leading up to an explanation of why the original robot AI like massacre genocide happened in the first place, right? Like, oh cool, like it didn't just it was never explained. It was always left up in mystery. Even Matsumoto was like, that is unknown. It is just, fucking AIs. All we know is that AIs all of a sudden went fucking crazy and just started killing people in order as if to fulfill their mission. And that has always been left up in the air, but now we're finally leading up to it, because whoever the agent is that is doing that or is responsible for all of this shit is probably the person who is responsible for that as well, and wants to. But I swear to God, if it's Tokeboy like 80 years in the future and is like fucking Dr. Giro hooked up to a supercomputer, I'm killing this show.
I doubt it's going to be Tokeboy 80 years in the future.
Really better not be. I don't think it's going to be, but I thought about that as I was talking about it, and I just needed to say, like, it better not be.
At most, I think it might be at most, if the show's going to involve Toke anymore, I think it's going to be the leader of Toke, who is the time traveler.
Speaking of
which would explain why they have all their great tech, because he's from the future. He has future tech.
Yeah, speaking of the future tech, did you guys notice that Tokeboy's when his artificial skin started peeling off, he's like red underneath, which is like more human looking, despite it looking a little bit Attack on Titan, because they kind of like really Attack on Titan did a really good job, really capitalizing that raw fleshy human anatomy kind of look for their Titans.
Although, would it be okay if I finished what I was saying?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I just thought about that, because the virus they used to disable the metal float was quote unquote tech too advanced for its era, and that was made by Toke. So
was it?
Maybe.
They said metal float is too advanced for its era, not that the virus was.
Yeah, and when Matsumoto analyzed virus, he's like, yes, this is really advanced.
Okay.
I don't know.
Really advanced, but not outrageously advanced, because he freaked the fuck out when he saw the other advancements.
Well, to be fair, Matsumoto was not able to find the hidden, the hidden code in it. Whatever the fuck happened on Metal Float, Matsumoto was not able to detect it, which has always been a strange thing. So, if what Meep says is true, and that was also this was the person responsible for that was also our mysterious secondary time traveler influencer, Matsumoto, but actually evil. Then that would actually make sense. That would explain it.
I'm gonna say, my point of why I think introducing the second time travel at this point of the show as a bad thing, I think it would have been much more interesting to have subtle clues and/or some sort of shrouded person that we don't quite know who it is yet be kind of pulling the strings and doing shit like this all along, so it's actually built up instead of just being like, "There's another one."
Well, isn't that what Meep is saying? Like that might be that might be the build up.
I've also seen that character done extremely poorly, just as much as I've seen introducing a new antagonist late in the game done very poorly.
I would hate for us to have been cut away to a mysterious shrouded person behind the scenes all the time. I think that would have not been in line with the narrative style and pacing of this show. So this happening feels organic in this show in particular.
I wouldn't say so.
Yeah.
Dropping more clues about it would have been better. And I mean, in retrospect, there might be some clues that we don't have enough context to see yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't have enough faith in the show to give it that doubt.
Okay, fair enough. That is your position.
The only other thing that comes directly to mind that could have been affected by the future time travelers, them dropping the space station on the coastal city, because we don't see Beth reprogram it to go onto the coastal city, and they said that they're dropping it in the ocean. So
They did. They did.
no, because Tokeboy goes, the only deaths that'll be on this is ours, and Beth goes, well, what if we dropped it on a city? Like that'd be more, and he's like, no, we're not doing that.
No, Beth was the one who knocked him out and changed the course.
Oh.
Yeah. She knocked him out. She knocked him out. Did she change the course?
Yeah, they fought her right in front of the control room.
I guess she did, yeah. Yeah, because that was her, like, idea. So, like, once again, we see an example of an extremism. That's, like, we see a lot of this, right? Where, like, if... Honestly, what I'm seeing is that if AI would progress naturally the way that Vivy is, the way a lot of the other songstresses, and the way a lot of, like, just basic AI are, there would be no problem. Like, if you treat people as people, they will, like, you will nurture them into people. Like, they will develop healthy and normal. Normal, that's a bad term, but for lack of a better term. But the moment you start controlling and projecting your own insecurities or extremisms or like thoughts on the matter, your own fucking issues, you start getting situations like Tokeboy, reprogrammed Broken Beth, Antonio, and you see these like you because nothing is supposed to be this extreme. Extremism is unhealthy. It is a do or die reaction in a situation where people feel like they have no other choice or mentally and or emotionally are broken in any form, whether it be on the right, on the left, religiously, personally, a hobby. Like, extremism is called extreme for a reason. That should not be your neutral state.
And that's what I enjoyed.
Oh, you cut out. That's what you enjoyed, what?
I said that's why I enjoyed Matsumoto going, I understand. I almost became you so many times.
Yeah,
but,
that's shit. Like, that was a good scene.
Like, and when that scene happened, all I could think of was the first episode when he stops Vivy from saving the plane. Is he was being controlling, but we did see him over time mellowing out and now getting along with his partner, and that's what made Diva talking with Vivy at the end so emotional to me, is her talking about Matsumoto and Vivy like, I don't know what you went through. He's very tight-lipped for a chatterbox, but he's a partner, so take care of him. And it was so like, oh, my heart.
He needs you, yeah. Man, I have not been a fan of Matsumoto on this show. You all know that. This is good character development. This is some good character development because we're both being shown and told. And I think that's and whatever they did with Matsumoto strikes a good balance for the kind of character that he is. Because he is very talkative, but as you realize reading the things, like someone who is, it's a lot of prose. It's a lot of pretentiousness. It's using a lot of words to explain things that could have been expressed in a lot less and simpler. And Diva points it out in the first episode of this arc. And in general, like, he says a lot, but still very little. And to see his words carry more meaning and thought and emotion behind them is good. He still refers to Ophelia as self-destructing, which is kind of fucked up. I still don't like, instead of like dying. But I think at the end he started even his vocabulary started changing, and the way he looks at things for what he is, there has been some very noticeable change and adjustment. And not just in the way he talks, in his behavior as well.
He was genuinely concerned about Diva when he found out about the virus, and she's like, don't sugarcoat it. You know that it's the end, but take care of the girl inside me. Don't be mad. Just be happy. It was so sweet. I can't wait to see Vivy again, to just see how everything progresses, because this was such, I don't know, I really enjoyed this episode. Do we want to talk about Antonio and Ophelia for a bit?
Let's do it.
Oh, Antonio, the epitome of a toxic, controlling boyfriend.
They're both dumbasses in the end, man.
They are.
Like, this is why communication in a relationship is so fucking important. Because if they had just been honest with each other instead of like, if they had expressed their mission, aka their intent, their goals, their desires more honestly to each other, this whole situation could have been fucking avoided. And but yeah, Antonio is extremely fucking controlling, and Ophelia is extremely codependent. So their relationship isn't entirely healthy from the first point. Like people were arguing like, "Oh, they're in love," and I'm just like, "Is this love?" This really just seems like dependency and codependency, and like if they had just communicated, they could have aligned their missions in a way that would not lead in a very, you know what, it's funny because I was just talking about Matsumoto using this term inappropriately, but I'm about to use it myself in this very self-destructive relationship.
Now,
Yeah,
Dal, I do have a point to bring up that you say that they could, like, if they just had good enough communication, they could have talked through it. Here's the point. What they want and what their mission is are two very different things. Antonio's mission was to make Ophelia the best singer she could be, and Ophelia's mission was the same as Vivy, make everyone happy by singing.
But it
Now,
wasn't. It changed.
it never did. It was because Antonio, he wanted to have Ophelia all for herself, so he twisted his mission of making her the best singer to make that be that.
Mhm.
He
That's
took her
Matsumoto
away.
said.
He took her away from everyone else by overwriting her AI. And in the end, when she came back, I assume she kind of was wiped clean with everything. But otherwise, that could be like, yeah, but I want to make everyone so happy by singing, but I wanted to make you the most happy. Like, it's still within the parameters of their mission, but saying that flatly is impossible with how their mission is.
Yeah, it's just as Matsumoto said. That's some old-fashioned justification for you. Like, like Matsumoto's whole exchange with Antonio, I enjoyed because it's very much like the whole idea that Matsumoto could have become this, and it's like Matsumoto shined so hard these last 3 episodes.
Not visually, but yes.
Yes, visually it looks like dog shit.
Well, it wasn't
I
that
like
bad.
the
Come on,
visuals.
Makan.
I built better looking fucking animal creatures out of Lego as a kid.
Okay.
They're not built for aesthetics; they're built for functionality.
Yeah, they switched to CG for Matsumoto to have his little cubic shape, and it's not that good, but it's not like butt ugly. It's just bleh.
I'm not even talking about the CG. CG is fine. It's just the construction shape of it. Just like
Oh, like his overall design? Okay, yeah.
no,
It's pretty dumb.
It's fucking ugly and dumb. Could you not be anything better? Like grow some actual arms instead of just having cubes?
Well, remember, Matsumoto exists for efficiency and functionality. That's his whole thing. He's very logical about things. So to me, it made sense that he built the creature like this because that's what would work the best in this situation.
Yeah,
I mean, no. Put some fucking spikes on it, some EMP tasers. Like,
well, no, that's more tech that
How
he
do
would
you-
not have access to. Yeah.
that's clearly
how
tech,
do you
yes.
how do you turn a cube into a spike?
How do you turn a cube into a fucking horse and then several fucking like grabby pieces and everything?
The thing is,
But it's
though,
built with other cubes.
yeah. The thing is, though, Matsumoto is still in the Nintendo 64 era of graphics. Okay, and that's okay. We won't have our modern graphics if we didn't have our Mario 64s and Golden Eyes. Like, like I kind of get what they're going for. Like Meep said, it's very bare bones. Literally, he is a skeleton, but I don't know.
Sure, but at the same time, like he built more cubes. Couldn't he just like build some fucking weaponry to them?
Yeah, but if Matsumoto
I mean,
became a fucking
he-
tank, that would be a different show.
I mean, he kind of did when he reflected Ophelia's attack back or Antonio's attack back at him.
Yeah.
Motherfucker fought 2 fights at the same time and tanked in both of them. What are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about like a literal tank. Like
Yeah.
if he had like bazookas and fucking miniguns strapped to his chest or
I'm not even
sides.
speaking that. I'm speaking like fucking have tasers and fucking pointed edges.
He does have pointed edges. The cube points.
Oh, because the cube is fucking smoothed at the edges.
Also, he was running separate calculations to get the rest of his body to Vivy before he could go all out. Too.
I did think that was really cool. Like the moment where like the whole time we're being shown he's running at 40% capacity and struggling against Antonio, and then he gets to Vivy. He's like, all right, cool, 100% in, all in, which didn't entirely make sense because he still needed to have at least a little bit for the fight with Vivy. But then again, he kind of got taken out pretty quickly by that really cool aesthetic electro knife.
I mean, like, no, because he would still joined in the fight later. By the time he beat Ophelia, that's when Tokeboy was on the floor.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like he went 100% out on Antonio Philia and Philia, but like it really feels like because he was still fighting Tokeboy alongside with Vivy during that combat, right? So like, how would he be at 100%?
Well, like I said, he switched to 100% when Tokeboy was dealt with.
Oh, like the fight with Antonio Philia was like later, like a little bit later on.
No, he switched to 100% after Vivy beat Tokeboy and he was on the floor. At least if I remember right, that was the progress of time there.
I think it was.
No, because when Vivy was tying her hair up in a ponytail and her and Matsumoto were talking, it cut back to Matsumoto dealing with Ophelia, and it's like, well, now that all my bodies have caught up with her, I can finally start running at 100% calculation.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
No, he did not win that fight that early.
No, that's what I'm saying. He did not win that fight. So he was fighting Antphilia and Tokeboy with Vivy side by side simultaneously, which is why I said, like, should it really have been 100%?
Because remember, when Tokeboy launched Vivy with her legs, it cut to Antonio getting thrown into the wall by Matsumoto.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
It's a small nitpick.
The fight scenes was good, but it was a long fucking fight scene.
I loved it. I thought this fight was fantastic. It's better than Beth's.
I didn't say I didn't love it.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh, I didn't say you didn't love it. McCann?
This fight was better than the.
Go on, guys. Someone talk.
Yeah, me talk. I wasn't saying anything. You said McCann, like I was supposed to say something.
I thought you were going to continue elaborating on how much you loved the fight, or did not hate the fight.
This fight was better than the Nanami and Itadori versus Mahito fight, in my opinion.
Really? Yeah. We lost Matsumoto early on.
They're shorter, but oh my god, are they so well animated and so well choreographed?
100%. Yeah. No, this fight is fantastic. Vivy versus Dogboy is the better fight. Beth felt like it was a more important fight. Like the Beth fight was more emotional for me, but just in overall, like visually, good lord, man, this fight was incredible.
Yeah. Should we get to cards? I feel like we've been talking about Vivy for a bit.
We have been talking about Vivy for a bit, but we always do.
We only have 4 shows. Are we really not going to talk more about Antonio and Ophelia?
We only have 4 shows.
Is there anything?
We started a bit late, and I don't have infinite amount of time.
Alright, fair enough. Well, I'll put it this way. Meep, you brought this up earlier where the backgrounds for the whole fight are all 2D. They didn't switch to 3D or CG at any point, and that is something remarkable and I think should be, brought up and given its credit on the show because goddamn, like, honestly, part of the reason why this looks so good is because of that.
I mean, like, the background participants and stuff that's like in a crowd can usually be 3D, but I can't say I've watched a show in recent time that I've noticed the background being CGI.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen, especially for like long panning shots, because it's easier to render that way instead of drawing every frame of drawing the background for every single frame.
And also, in all fairness, we've been watching 10 anime a week for the past how many months?
Yeah.
So, of course, we'd notice it.
I mean, at the same time, like, comparing it to other shows that do their fight backgrounds, I mean, if it's 2D, then the other shows I've watched also have 2D backgrounds in fights, because I was looking through the screenshots and some of them look kind of 3D-ish, but also not the CGI garbage. So I don't really know what to say about that.
Depends on the fight, it depends on the anime, and it also depends on the fight. Like in Akudama Drive, the fight with Brawler and Executioner, the first one, which is still, in my opinion, the best fight we've had on this show. It was mostly 2D, except for obviously like the virtual lighting and interfaces. But the second time they fought in the arcade, that was a lot of CG being used for the setting and the setting. So it really depends. But this show continues doing its designs and environments incredibly well.
Yep.
But yeah, if we're ready for cards, let's get to it.
I don't want to rush you too long, Heather. If you have anything more you'd like to say about Ophelia and Antonio, I mean, I think you should go ahead.
I'm surprised that we have the least amount to say on these two because we got the most here. Like I think Beth and Elizabeth and Estella, was still the show's climax for emotions for me personally. But by God, like the audio design. First, also forgot to mention the audio design for the fights are incredible. Like the clanking of metal, the heavy sounding hits as now Tokeboy. Because the sound, if you guys go back and listen to the fight between like her and him earlier, the sound effects are very different than him now because he also has a metallic body. But like Meep already highlighted the crucial thing about Ophelia and Antonio is that like Matsumoto's own reflections and exposition of his own character development is really important. But man, I don't know. It's just like maybe it's just me. Maybe I just thought we'd talk more about the whole how one's mission can change so drastically and what it means to be, Vivy become human. But I digress. We can go on to cards.
I mean, it would have been interesting if the show hasn't been talking and making these points the entire show.
I mean, consistency is important.
I mean, sure, but Vivy has like changed and adapted and become more human. So did Elizabeth. So did Beth. I don't like Elizabeth and Beth. Like, what's the other girl's name? I forget.
Estella.
Remembering Estella. Like every character, every android we've come into contact with has had human emotion. The entire show is basically asking the question of what is a human? They have emotions, so are they not human? And I mean, I'll be perfectly honest. I don't care much for it because it's more of the same. And yes, I've already made my point of what I think is human or not with its androids.
Well, the difference is they all get humanized in different ways. Like, Ophelia and Antonio were very much showing a toxic codependency. That was their whole thing.
No, that were the show. Sure, that's what it came across with. But what the show was trying to do, from my perspective, at least, was trying to show love between these two people, but the restraints of what they are able to do in their current situation is stopping it from being a possibility, and them taking drastic measures because of it. Either way, let's move to cards then.
I was gonna say, and with that, lol, let's hold up cards. Who wants to go first?
First, why not? This fight scene in this episode was fucking brilliant. It was so incredibly violent, and I loved every second of it. And I took so many screenshots because it had so many just frames which were so brilliantly cool. And I just had a blast watching the entire fight scene. Oh, I can't say I enjoyed the story in this episode. Ophelia and Antonio is more of the same we've seen of the other androids, in my opinion. And I think the time travel includes the 11th hours is a bit too late, in my opinion. So I essentially only enjoy the fight scene of this episode, but the fight scene is so fucking good that I can't just say I want to kill the episode, so I'm fucking it.
Excellent. Go me, because I have a car alarm going off.
I'm gonna fuck the show too. This has been one of the best, well-made, well-directed, and well choreographed and most best storyboarded anime I've seen in a long time. Like, I think the story has been fantastic. The themes and messages it tries to tell is great, and it also keeps the story entertaining while developing its characters and even developing the antagonists, showing humanizing them in different ways. Whereas Grace was a love story between Psyche, and even then, Psyche was more the focus of that, and his obsession and want to bring his wife back. Uh, uh, Elizabeth and Estella was fantastic. It was showing two sisters reuniting and finally being able to perform a joint task together. And this one was the story of two people who both had a mission and were toxically codependent of each other. The stuff with Tokeboy worked well for me. I understood and I enjoyed the way it was done. It wasn't the most perfect thing done in the world, but it's not like I hated it, and I actually enjoyed it. And the whole scene at the end with Vivy and Diva, or Diva talking to Vivy, it made me tear up. It seems like the end of the arc episodes always make me tear up, and
Oh, 100%.
I always look forward to seeing the show. I don't know. I think killing it would be doing a massive disservice to it. So fuck.
Yeah, I'm also 100% going to fuck this episode. It managed to introduce a bunch of character deaths without making it sad, without inflating the value or impact of each death. Like, each one still felt genuine and each held its own gravity. We also saw the passing of Diva to Vivy, and just seeing Vivy sitting in the fucking band closet, staring into her corner the whole time, just hurt. The fight was incredible. Go watch it. The same way as I said, guys, go watch Beth versus Vivy and Estella. Go watch Vivy versus Tokeboy. The fight between Antonio was a little weird because there was all this corruptive data points, which was never really explained, and then we had fucking friggin' laser beams. But it was still really enjoyable. I personally liked the plot developments we've had here. Tokeboy being out of the picture is good for me, and the setup for an overarching villain finally coming to the foray, which is something I feel we've all been waiting for, has me very intrigued to see what this show is going to end on. I'm holding up the fuck card.
Alrighty. That is a trifecta for Vivy Fluorite Eyes Song. Let's move on to Super Cub, Episode 7. If I can find my notes. Alrighty. Oh, that is Vivy, Episode 7. Super Cub, Episode 7. Koguma and Reiko go to check out gloves and winter parts, while Culture Girl needs help getting some Italian things. Reiko and Koguma go to the other school and bring back the items and save the Italian cafe. And okay, this episode had the first, what I would say is egregious not product placement, but ad for the Super Cub.
Oh,
when
yeah?
they were trying to convince the teacher on it, and it just felt so out of nowhere. It's
it did feel forced, yeah.
Yeah.
My grandfather has one. Yeah, but you should buy a new one. Because the myth, even though Cubs are great, the myth of them being invincible isn't true and you could be dangerous. Yeah, well, I'm down for that kind of danger. And there was a little bit of sexual tension there. But
Give Honda money.
it's a little bit of sexual tension between Reiko and the teacher, but honestly, it's probably just them trying to create us I know what you're talking about. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Let's go ride our Super Cubs.
On the highway at like 40 kilometers an hour and have everyone behind us honk at us like madmen because we are so fucking slow.
Honk honk.
I did enjoy this episode, although I'm starting to get a little bit of a cuteness overload with like everything being cute moe anime girl.
Yeah, here it is. Here it is. We've been waiting for it.
Well,
Me
no,
hates Moe.
This isn't me going, oh, I hate the show, it's Moe. This is me going, it's getting a little bit overbearing for me, but I can still look past it.
Me hates the Moe.
Oh, I do also have to say the same thing. Like, goddamn, why is everyone in this show so fucking cute?
Because they deserve to be.
Exactly.
They're just good peeps.
They're just very cute.
So, how do we feel about Koguma Mark II?
I'm sorry?
They do look very similar.
They look extremely similar.
Yeah, no, I'm like, are they siblings? Wait, no, that would completely fuck up everything with Koguma. Because why the fuck have this girl's parents not taken her in her dire situation then?
Right?
When I always watch the opening, I always assumed that the one Koguma you see in Koguma Mark II, I thought those were both actually Koguma, but it was like supposed to be some sort of metaphorical thing.
No.
But no, it's just there's another character that looks extremely like Koguma.
Yeah, she looks very like Koguma, or she. I don't know the correct pronunciation. They said her name like twice, and I didn't catch it. But
Yeah,
she's very cute. She's also anxious being, but unlike Koguma, she's engaging despite her anxiety. Perhaps even in spite of her anxiety, as we explore her character in the next few episodes. But I like her little teapot hairpins. I think those are really cute. But I'm mad that she poured espresso into a mug, and that upset me.
Her name is Eniwa Shi, by the way.
Yeah, she anyway. She. But yeah, cute. Her introduction did not feel anywhere near as organic as Reiko's.
No, it wasn't strong.
And I think the thing that bothers me the most about this episode is how standoffish fucking Koguma was this whole fucking episode. Like, I love our little Charlie Brown, but like, man, I can kind of see why people weren't friends with her if when she says like she says something really constructive and nice, like, you know, we need to like always have a backup plan, it's really important, and then they drive away and she's looking after Eniwa is looking after Koguma with like, oh, and I'm like, oh, cute, and then she comes back and just tells her that she's kind of dumb for expecting something like, you know, like, I don't remember what it was, that she said something to her that I'm like, oh, Koguma, like, come on, man, take it back now, y'all.
She even calls her like, oh, she's a dull shade of blue, but at the end of the episode she's like, no, she's a bright shade of blue, and that, I don't know, that felt kind of dumb to me. Koguma seemed really like
judgmental.
Sure, like, I could say the same. I could agree with that, but like, I don't know. It's just kind of everyone's judgmental in some way. She wasn't openly judgmental with her statement in the end. That's just her inner monologue and thought of how she saw this person. And I mean, I kind of do that. I feel like a lot of people does that. And she got the feeling of her being a dull, washed out blue. And I mean, yeah, I could get that with how she saw her first, but yeah, no, just her being as like she was kind of being pushed around. She was like doing things for people, but they didn't really seem to be appreciating it. But in the end, she seems to just be happy doing things for people she cares about.
I agree, Makan. Let's not pretend our shit doesn't stink. But at the same time, I expect of all people Koguma to be the I expect out of all the people that Koguma would be the one to like understand how she feels.
Sure, and I mean, I don't remember Koguma ever saying anything to her that's bad, but only thinking it towards the end. Sure, Koguma was blunt this episode, but if you haven't noticed through the entire series so far, she is quite blunt.
Yeah, Yeah, it is. It
Well,
is fun to see
she-
her handle Reiko's
Yeah,
eccentricities.
I just want to go look at this. No, you don't.
You know, like, oh my god, let's go look
She-
there. Not what we're here for today.
She actually did say something kind of mean to uh, Koguma Mark II
When they were talking about anyway, yeah, when they were talking about the bikes, right, Meep?
Yeah, and she's like, "No, you wouldn't
Watch your
be
mic. Watch your
able
mic.
to handle it." It's weird. Nothing's. I
Weird.
don't
Anyway,
know
yeah.
what's happening with it.
Anyway.
But yeah, she does say like, "Oh, you wouldn't be able to handle it." And she had like a really sassy / snide tone when she said that, and that kind of made me tilt my head like, Koguma, you're and then Reiko's there like trying to uplift her, or no, was Reiko saying she wouldn't? I can't remember what Reiko was doing this episode.
Reiko said there's a cub for everyone, but then they got into this whole thing. It's like you can't be afraid of your cub, otherwise your cub will be afraid of you, and a wild cub will throw you off and not let you ride it. I'm like, the fuck?
That's more commercial bullshit.
The fuck?
Yeah, this episode had the most egregious like advertising in it, I'd say.
Yeah, it's kind of in your face. Like, I get it. We're in the mid season, so I guess this is where you're gonna get all your ads out. But yeah, that was man. I just, for the first time, my least favorite thing of the episode was Koguma and the ads. Well, I mean, I guess the ads have always been something that breaks my immersion, but like,
they haven't been this bad.
yeah, the commercials haven't been this in your face, but like they have progressively gotten way more present. And yeah, for the first time, let me just rephrase myself. For the first time, my least favorite thing about an episode was Koguma. Like, she wasn't nice to the teacher, she wasn't nice to Enwa, and there were times where she was like I get it, banter, but like not exactly nice to Reiko too. Like when they were sitting in Reiko's place and Reiko's getting really excited and going off about like shit, and she's like, "Yep," and like Reiko's like, "Yo, don't ignore." Like, it's cute because like she was checking Reiko's eccentricisms, but like, come on, Koguma, what are you doing? Why you
I mean,
don't bully?
I get that though, because I essentially did the same thing to me, because he's like, I don't need headphones. Buy some headphones, Meep. Come on, Meep. Buy some headphones. Come on, do it. Because Reiko was like, yeah, no, just normal work gloves. We'll be fine, even though they're constantly breaking on her. She's like, yeah, how about you buy some actual motorcycle gloves? She's like, no, work gloves are still used by like fighter pilots and everything. Are they now?
Did you know that like a good number of countries we consider to be developed still use work gloves, non-stick work gloves in their land infantry and pilot air force?
Yeah, no,
it's just fucking.
the feeling I got from Koguma is like, do you know what most motorcycles used? Motorcycle gloves.
I guess my hesitation, or what I don't want to happen, is that I don't want Koguma to gain confidence and start being mean, rude, and like condescending.
Yeah, no, I mean, this episode is definitely not a deal breaker for me, but if she just keeps shifting more from what her personality is and keeps being mean, that's not going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, Annie was a klutz. She can't have a super cub, which is why she's riding her bicycle in all of the promotion art. And we have our third member. I think 7 episodes into the series.
Yep, we are 6, because Shadow's House still has 6 more episodes. We're six weeks away from both the retrospective and the awards, so look out for that, viewers.
Brought to you by Super Cub.
If anything happens to Reiko, I've only had Reiko for a day and a half, but if anything happens to her, I'll kill everyone in this room and then myself.
Yeah, I love how Reiko has become our favorite.
Though I went back to the episode while we were talking to get the actual quote from Koguma. I wouldn't say that's mean. She's basically like, "Oh, I probably shouldn't ride one because I fall off my bicycle as much as I do already." And she said, "I don't think you should do something that you don't think you can handle." Basically saying, if you think you're going to crash with your motorcycle all the time, you probably shouldn't ride one.
Like I said, the advice was good. It was more about how she said it.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with it, but I mean, I guess people will interpret it in different ways.
Yeah. Otherwise, Koguma's bike is a little bit upgraded. We got to see her exhaust pipe, like whatever that is.
Fuck, I forgot I was pushed to talk.
What were you saying?
All I said was it felt like the tone was more condescending. And if someone
Yeah.
said, and it might just be a language barrier thing. Maybe that's just the inflection of language. But for me, it sounded like she was like, "Oh, well, of course you wouldn't be able to," kind of like that underlying tone.
It wasn't. I don't think it was that catty. I think it was just like,
Yeah, no, there was nothing about, of course you wouldn't be able to. It's her going, yeah, I already fall off my bike alone. She's like, well, if you don't think you can handle riding a motorcycle, don't force yourself to ride a motorcycle because you think they're cool.
I think. Well, first of all, I think what happened with you, Meep, just now is that you were combining the. I thought she was this dull, washed out, pale blue, light blue color, but when now thinking on it and seeing how hard she works and seeing her happy in what she does, I realize she is a light color, but a light blue color like the sky. I think you're combining that notion of like, I thought she was a washed out pale blue color with the bicycle. And I think my issue with her saying that about in that scene was you see how excited and interested she is in bikes. And if someone talked to you that way in episode 1, Koguma, we probably would not have the show because you probably would have looked down and been like, "Yeah, you're right. I can't do this." And then you would go back. But like again, as someone who has experienced this kind of like a lot of like Koguma should understand some of the things that Eniwa is feeling, and shutting her down like that felt a little bad. Like the way she shut her down felt bad because I agree. Motorcycles, whether they're scooters or proper bikes, are dangerous. You do not have a metal or plexiglass, a fiberglass box around you to protect you. And you are basically sitting on a metal horse, like you're sitting on top of a metal thing that is going more than 10 miles an hour. That's dangerous. And if you're clumsy and if you fall off your bike and you get injured, you shouldn't do it. But there's ways to say that to someone who is obviously excited and interested in your hobby without shutting them down.
And I mean, if anything, if she never ends up getting a scooter in the show, I think it will be directly by Koguma's words, sad to say.
It will at least certainly feel that way, and that is a tarnish on Koguma's character that I did not need, nor did I want.
It just feels like, to me, it feels like kind of how people, when I first wanted to get into D&D, people said, "Oh, well, you need to be good at talking to people, so you wouldn't like playing D&D." It's like, oh well, okay.
Yeah,
I guess I won't then.
it's like this unintentional gatekeeping. Like there's obviously gatekeeping in many hobbies, especially fandom and nerd hobbies, which is a shame because it does no one any good. Not even the person saying it. Yes, it makes you feel superior and it makes you feel better about yourself, but then you're just stuck with less people around you to engage, and that's miserable.
The thing you said about D&D, Meep, I brought one of my friends into D&D who is quite quiet in calls and never really speaks up unless addressed. But I brought him into it because D&D is my favorite hobby, and him being one of my closest friends, I wanted him to experience it and at least see if he would enjoy it. He's been playing for about a year now, and everyone in that group fucking loves him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my point was that someone told me that when I was first wanting to get into it, and I didn't for a while because I was like, oh well, if I need to be good at talking to people and need to be good at like acting, then I guess I wouldn't like it.
Yeah,
That's
no. You need to have some sort of people skills to play D&D. But here's the thing: you don't need to do it when you start because you gain people skills from talking to from playing D&D. Because you talk to people, you communicate, and you explore yourself as a person. And like that's what I mean. If you extend a hand and help someone get into your hobby, then there's a higher likelihood that they will try it, and they might not like it, and then they'll just stop. But if they do like it, then you giving them that, like extending that hand, is what helps them get into it.
Yep.
Yeah, what I'm saying is more like what Dal's saying. It felt like Koguma was more shutting down the girl's interest rather than lending a hand to help.
Anyway.
No, exactly. And I'm saying what the better option of doing in that situation is. It's kind of my point here. I'm not saying Koguma did that. She definitely did not. She shut her down immediately.
Yeah. I think Makan just wanted to expound upon what you said, and that there are, if you're in that kind of situation, just remember, like, first of all, don't try. It's hard to say to do. It's easier said than done, but try not to get intimidated by seniors in your hobby or scene of choice. Just enjoy it for what it is. Don't try to be what you're not, and find the people who won't shut you down, and continue enjoying your hobbies in a mutually respectful way.
If you're interested in something, even if you aren't good at it, if you like doing it, fucking do it.
Yeah. Unless it's murdering people. Don't do that.
Oh, just don't get caught. No, never mind.
No, my God, no. Bad. But yeah, no. The more we talk about it, the more I realize I like I like Eniwa. I think she's cute, and like she didn't really like sit it, like she didn't settle down until I started talking about it with you guys, because she was kind of like it felt like in a weird way, I kind of get where Koguma is coming from in the end of the episode, where it's just like, yeah, you're kind of a wishy-washy character, because like the scenes you're shown to us as like anxious but also like proactive, and like it's cute, but we don't get a lot from you. And now that we're talking about her, it's like, yeah, you know what? Anna was sweet. Anna was cute. And like the show continues doing the thing that I love, where it's just showing us the little things that many other shows would just skip over. And I like, don't get me wrong, like the scene with Koguma seeing Eniwa like watching them leave in her rear view mirror was so cute, because look at this bean as she watches these two girls who she obviously now looks up to ride off and have agency over their lives and do the things that she can't. What's up, Maka?
I was just laughing because Steak just fucking said in chat.
Oh, I'll take a look in a second, just after I finish my point. But also like the little things where they're like like, you know, Koguma taking off the bolts and the nuts on Reiko's Super Cub, Reiko raving about her Hunter Cub, the little things about them hitching the trailer, Koguma walking with the trailer, reminding us that this girl is not athletic. It's these little things that are really cute. It was just Koguma like not really engaging, or like maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm projecting my own experiences, because like I wanted her to engage with the teacher, but she was still painfully polite and courteous.
No, I definitely agree with you on Koguma being weaker this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
Also, I just
was weaker, but I get where you're coming from. But as someone who is doesn't have the nicest thoughts about people and needs to filter his words a lot, I get how Koguma thinks about it, and might have let something a bit mean slip.
Okay.
Well, also, I just want to say this episode gave me my favorite screenshot of Reiko with the rope. It is my new favorite reaction.
You guys are a bunch of fucking idiots.
It is pretty fucking good, if I say so myself.
God damn it.
Bro, that's it. You're voted off of Total Drama Island.
Okay.
Pull out the rope.
I thought you guys were taking it a sexual direction, and I'm like, guys, no.
No, I mean, you can. You were the one that was talking about how Reiko was having sexual tension with the teacher. Don't you project that onto us?
Oh no, I have become the meme.
Dalaran, you can't say you're looking at that and your brain don't go, bondage.
No, this show's too pure.
I mean,
nothing wrong with having sexuality. I just think it shows too pure.
My brain does go there, but it first goes to, yes, tie you up and throw you in the ocean.
Reiko would 100% be the kind of person that would, like... I bet she fucking tried to tie her old cup up. while it was falling apart into pieces, and just looked at it and just shook her head like, no, not even not even Speedwagon can write something like this.
My brain just immediately went like episode 12 where Reiko kicks in Koguma's door. Hey, let's take our super cub and drive into the mountains to bury this body. Only our super cubs
Reiko has become
only our super cubs can get us deep enough where no one will look.
Reiko has become Nara. Are we ready for cards, gentlemen?
I think so.
Already.
I'm gonna fuck this episode. I'm actually happy I came around to the show because I did not want to have another Kuma Bear situation where I'm just being miserable for one section of the show each week. But
I honestly cannot understand how someone I can understand why someone will watch this and not be interested. I cannot understand how someone can watch this and be miserable.
it's more of the boredom aspect. Like a show, I'm more interested in a show that makes me angry than I am a show that bores me. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, as we saw with fucking Full Dive and Koikumo.
Listen, Koikimo was chaos. Full Dive actually had good parts, but it stopped being good, so I dropped it.
Incorrect.
Anyway, maybe continue your card. Apologies for interrupting.
Like, it's fine. It's just like, yeah, no, I was really worried it was gonna be another Kuma Bear situation where I'm just sitting here hating this one show the whole time, but I was pleasantly surprised. And with this show, I don't think you'd pull a fucking Ikebukuro on us and kill it in the 11th hour. So
who knows? Who knows?
That will always be one of my favorite parts of our first season was when you killed Ikebukuro because I had such a big smile on my face.
I mean, honestly, if the show, if you're worried about a show experiencing that with me, look no further than Vivy Fluorite, because, like I said, I'm trusting the show to juggle a lot of things. But hey, we're past that show. We'll see where it goes. So, what's your card, homie?
Well, I'm definitely fucking the show as well. I didn't notice the issues you guys had with it until you spoke about them, because, like I said, I have a quite toxic personality that I filter a lot. I think of a lot of mean things to say and don't say them.
Mm.
And I've been very introverted, and during some parts of my school life I spent them the same way Koguma did, not talking to anyone and just being by myself and being okay with that, though it's not really being okay. And a lot of thoughts I had for people around me that were talking even to me or just around me were so abhorrently disgusting thinking back on them. It's easy to get into that mindset when you don't actually talk to people.
All right, fair enough. And yeah, honestly, like the more we talk about it, I think I might just be judging myself. I think I myself may be judging Kokuma for just being human, and I don't think that's entirely fair as well. So I'm still curious to see where the show takes her personality, because we've talked about it multiple times where you could, how do I put this? I lost my train of thought. Not how I put this. I lost my train of thought. Fuck. What was I saying?
I don't know, actually.
I got distracted by Stakes comments and the round shark in our chat. Point is, oh yes, we've all been curious to see where Koguma goes, like how she will grow, right? We saw her get a little like not combative, but like a little playfully catty with Reiko, and that's really cute. I just hope this is not indicative of her personality with Eniwa, and I think I fuck it. This show, I still love its characters. This show's super pretty. I like the autumnal colors scattered throughout the countryside. When they were riding to the other school, the river or ocean with the cliff face with the trees growing all over the cliff face and not just on top, of super fucking pretty. The fucking wheat that you showed earlier, super fucking pretty. The show's just a nice feel good time. Koguma, don't be a bad bean, stay a good bean. I'm fucking the show because I love watching this, and every week is just Super Cub time.
When you say the wheat you showed earlier, do you mean the screenshot I took?
Yeah.
It's literally the first shot of the episode. I'm just like, that
Nice.
looks pretty.
Yeah.
Yoink.
Yeah.
It's like that's what's really just a counterpoint you made a few episodes back. That the background started lacking in detail and how good they were looking. I could not disagree more.
No, we still have that because if you look at like the trees, it's a different art style, and it's fine. Not everything has to be hyper realistic. It's just we started off. If you remember the interlude to the first episode, it was a lot of like hyper realistic, from the trees to the mountains to that train station and the train itself. All of it was like very intentionally drawn. Oh, speaking of the visuals of this episode, well, actually, hold on, I'm jumping the gun. And like when the show progressed and we kind of started doing a little bit more like painting, a little more like you could see the brush strokes a little bit more, and there's nothing wrong with that. It was just a shift I had to get used to. But speaking of visual things to show, just a very little note that I really liked when they were doing their whatever their school name is culture festival sign, and then they showed it just as a blank piece of wood. Then they carved it and they painted the black symbols, the letters saying XXX School Culture Festival, and then they put it up on the school gate and it was blank. And then they cut to the festival and then it was like colorful and painted with balloons and other shit on it. And I'm like, this is great. This is such a small detail, and it helps both us see the time that passes, but also kind of like just adds flavor and color to the world. A plus.
Yeah, how this
Why does
progresses. It's good.
Why does the school have an authentic Winchester rifle?
I also thought that.
I mean, that's for the battle arc in the last episode.
Because, like, at first I was thinking, like, oh, okay, it's probably just a prop. No, she called it authentic.
Well, it's probably that they mean an authentic looking prop. It's not an actual rifle.
Here's
I
hoping.
want to believe. I want to believe there's a real rifle, and when oh no, I'm gonna say this in chat and spoiler.
Maybe there's
Koguma's gonna do a drive-by with a Winchester in the last episode.
maybe there's a reason why there are no delinquents in this school. The janitor was fed the fuck up. Oh boy, I'ma go look. And you put the fucking spoiler tag. Yeah, there it is. I'll just put it this way, audience at home. The joke you think Meep is going to make is the joke Meep made. Anyway, that's a trifecta for Super Cub.
Trifecta for Super Cub episode 7. Let's move on to Tokyo Revengers episode 7, which a little bit of information I got. Tokyo Revengers might possibly be a weekly anime instead of seasonal.
What? Where did you hear this?
I was talking with some people at the TFS server, and they were saying that because it hasn't gotten an episode count yet, the same thing happened with Black Clover. It might be weekly.
That would be wild. I'm down for that, but let's see until we get it.
Content for it, sure.
I'm not ready for that because weekly shonen have not had a good track record. Let's put it that way.
I mean, it is what it is, right? The show, as we've watched it for how many episodes?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if it starts getting really slow and fillery, then that's why.
That's actually my issue with this episode, that it wasn't slow and full of detail.
Tokyo Revengers, episode 7. The battle between the gangs ensues, where Mikey beats Osanai, but Pa stabs him and turns himself into the police, and starts a fight between Mikey and Draken. When they both go to see Takemichi, a conflict ensues. And yeah, I also had a little bit of issues with this episode. One, this was the first time the comedy didn't just not do it for me. I actively disliked the comedy in this episode.
Thought the puzzle... Oh, go ahead.
And 2, the fight between Mikey and Draken felt really forced. And with the comedy being, oh, they keep breaking things that Takemichi owns.
Yeah, so...
yeah.
Yeah, I okay, so the comedy with the puzzle was funny. Like, again, you guys could see the more classic hee hee hoo hoo Japanese funny face anime humor. But Like I thought the whole puzzle thing, like I was so stressed. I haven't slept in 72 hours, and I completed this 2500 puzzle piece puzzle, and then everyone just trying to fuck with it, and his friends like listening to him, but Draken being the fucking degenerate that delinquent that he is, just smashed it. Apologizes. Takamichi gets upset, and then he gets mad that he apologized, and that was funny for me. The shit.
Can you get?
Be quiet, work.
The
Can you
shit.
switch stills?
What do you mean? I did.
It's still on the wheat.
No, your connection's super lagging.
We're currently on the puzzle being smashed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, good catch, but you're lagging. But what was I saying? Yeah, like the whole puzzle thing was funny. That actually landed to me for the first time, or very first time at least in a while. The whole breaking all of Takamichi's personal childhood things, that was not funny. I get it, it's slapstick, but this show does change from super serious to super slapstick, and that it's it's not, sometimes it's juxtaposed, right? We talked about it last week where the juxtaposition is important, but in this episode it gave me whiplash. Like,
Also, the show continues being so mean-spirited towards Takamichi.
Oh yeah. Like for the whiplash, yeah, no, like that's kind of what I mean. Like it needs to take itself serious at some points. Like it doesn't need to break in with comedy because the last scene between Mikey and Draken and Takamichi trying to break it up would have been a lot better if he wasn't just getting fucking super upset and crying over all his shit getting broken and just like trying to break them up while they're going at each other's throat, and then finally getting infuriated with them and just basically fucking, you know, getting angry like he got at the end and they're teasing us with, which he's probably gonna pussy out of and not follow up on.
no, I really hope we get a Reijimichi Takareichi.
I desperately hope we do as well, and that he puts them in their fucking place.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I doubt it.
I want Reijimichi Takareiji. I really do.
You don't know how horny I would be for that, but
He's a middle schooler.
Speaking of horny,
I will.
Speaking of horny, how did you two feel about the joke of Hina thinking Draken's girlfriend was giving Takamichi a blowjob in the hospital?
The actual scene, like, oh, boob grab, sure, anime, whatever. But they also went further with the sexual joke of making it look like she's giving him a blowjob. Because I haven't seen a show do that before. Though I think it's quite silly for Hina to think that was what was happening, because she heard the crying.
I'm disappointed that Hina thought that was disgusting. Hina, you should be down for more adventurous sex. Anyway,
For fuck.
But it's in the middle of a public hospital with you thinking your boyfriend is cheating on you.
Yeah, from the fucking other shot, there's an old guy right in front of them.
He's enjoying the show.
It'll be fucking hilarious. This old guy, like, oh, he's excited.
I really don't enjoy the ongoing joke of Hina continuously thinking that Takamichi is cheating on her. That joke doesn't do anything for me.
I do it in the hospital bed.
Sure, but like, yeah, I don't think the joke works either, because like if it should either bring up more tension between their relationship, or they should just cut it out, because it should do something more than her just getting angry and slapping him
when he's injured in a hospital bed.
I mean, still, if she thinks she's cheating at him, it doesn't stop at just getting angry and slapping him.
Yeah, no, that scene also bothered me. Yeah, no, that scene also bothered me because I was like, I knew the joke they were gonna make her the moment she lay down on his lap. I'm like, Hina's about to walk in, and she did. And I was like, okay, there's the joke. And I had like a smirk-ish being like, okay, show, here's the joke. But then it turned into something like, I actually got not upset, but I was bothered by it because of Hina's reaction, the cutaway, and the fact that she still hit him when he is in a hospital bed covered in bandages and stitches.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would have worked a lot better if Hina came in and was like, "What the fuck is happening?" and then Emma just raised her head, showing that she's fucking crying, and then there being a sort of a more serious
An
moment
awkward.
after.
Oh, I
Yeah,
would
an
just laugh if there was
awkward.
like an awkward silence.
Yeah, just like an awkward silence of like, oh, and like
So did
then also more serious moment of her crying and being like worried about what the fuck is happening with Draken and Mikey. Like, it just wasn't the time for it.
yeah.
This whole episode felt a little awkward.
Yeah, this is the first episode that I just legit didn't enjoy. Like the fight of
Sorry.
him like between Osanai and Pa wasn't even really a fight, it was just a beatdown.
It was a fucking stomp, and they even hyped up Pa to be like this like tough berserker.
Yeah, he's supposed to be one of their best brawlers and just got handily beaten.
Yeah,
But then Mikey comes up and just one-shots the dude.
Yeah, no, if they wanted that to be a thing, like, fucking have him land some punches, have it be a struggle.
Like, don't get me wrong, Mikey one-shotting the dude with a fucking, like, overhead kick to the temple was awesome.
Yeah, no, the fucking, like, heel roundhouse kick is sick.
Like, this anime, and this episode in specific, has just been reminding me of older shonen, like late 2000s, early 2010s shonen, and that's kind of what's been bothering me about the show and this episode, is because that's the shonen that I really don't like. And I get the Tokyo Avengers is a shonen, and the manga is from that era, but it still doesn't make me like it any or dislike it any less.
I'll be
I don't know.
honest. I've been kind of.
This was the first episode.
I've been kind of riding the anticipation of, since Takemichi broke that bottle and threatened to kill some fucking kids, and just I've been waiting for that to come back.
Yep.
And I've kind of been disappointed with what's been happening so far, but the story has also been interesting, even though that is what I'm here for. And I hope that Reija Michi is what's happening and he doesn't pussy out, and that he actually just be like, all right, well, I can't stop you from fucking fighting the Tokyo Manji gang. Mikey, can you teach me how to fucking fight, and I'll go fucking make sure you don't fuck this up and make Draken die.
Yeah.
Speaking of Draken, you got me.
I've been annoyed that he hasn't at some point asked someone to teach him how to fucking fight, because he has no idea what he's doing.
Well, he's only had a few days.
Yeah. It feels like he's taking no initiative to stop things other than telling people to stop, which you need to take action for change. You can't just say it, and that's kind of what's been annoying me about Takemichi. He's of the main characters we have, he's like definitely on our current list, he's the weakest, but he might even be one of the weakest, including the shows that died, aside from Nemo and the Dragon from Dragon's House Hunting.
Or the fucking piss ants from Full Dive.
Yeah, bullshit. He is not weak.
Oh, right. Full Dive. Yeah, Hero is also worse. But
yeah,
I forgot about Hero for a second.
Yeah.
I wasn't in that show for Hero.
We all know what you were in that show for.
The comedy that actually worked at some points.
Oh.
Big titty.
Actually, Riona isn't my type. If I was in it, listen, we all know who my type is this season. That big blue-haired lady in the back. You know who you are.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say you were there for the comedy, because calling that comedy is an insult to jokes.
There was good comedy in that show, even if it didn't land for you.
Nope.
So back to Tokyo Avengers. Yes. We knew there was going to be the fight was cool, everyone kind of like bowing down to Draken, who was an absolute fucking dumbass. Not dumbass. Badass. And then all of them like freaking out as dumbasses do, and then Draken being like actually like chivalrous and being like, yo, the reason you fucking lost and the reason we're gonna stomp your shit is because you fell off the delinquent path. You became a criminal, a thug, a degenerate, you became scum, raping women, beating up their parents. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then everyone's running away, and he's like, yo, Aren't you forgetting something? Leave no man behind. Go take Okayami. And they're like, yeah, yeah. And then the whole Pa thing happened, which seemed extreme. Would have been nice to know about that. But, like, the fight between Draken and Mikey, we don't even know what it is. And
Yep.
that part really is just like, they're fighting. Okay. They're fighting. Okay. Are you sure they're fighting? They're not fighting. But wait, they actually are. Yep. Next episode's gotta give us the meat because the show's been pretty good.
Yeah, no, Takemichi has to just like the anger they showed him with the fucking fire and everything. Like, even if he gets his shit stomped by Mikey or Draken because of it, like him fucking standing up to them going like, shut the fuck up and stop breaking my shit.
Yep.
Yeah,
Also,
the
that's what needs to happen. Sorry, me. Go on.
The next episode has to give me more because I've been left wanting with this episode. Like the previous episodes were doing enough for me. This one did not.
Yeah. Yeah. It felt awkward. The pace, like the exposition was really limited, narrowed. It felt railroady. Regardless, the next episode needs to give us something. Because at this point, with these two dudes, Mikey and Draken, who are just having these fucking like piss ants fucking fight with each other, which also seems like it came from fucking nowhere because we don't know the reason. And 2 episodes ago, Draken was like established as Mikey's heart, and Mikey was kind of like the whatever. Point is, there was in the previous episode we were shown a companionship. In this episode, they're all of a sudden like at huge fucking odds. These two either need to just fight in the street right now at Takamichi's house and get over their bullshit because they obviously can't talk through their emotions and get their frustrations with each other out that way, or Takamichi needs to jump in and fucking punch both of them and then a fight will break out. But something needs to happen because if they keep pushing this off, nothing good will happen. Back in the day, when I spent a few months living in the UK, I had a bar manager who, when people in the kitchen, people in the front of house, back of house, people did not get along, he would give them a few days to talk it out. When he would see that either one or both of them are being stubborn, bullheaded, or just immature, he'd be like, okay, go to the local boxing gym, rent a ring out for half an hour, come into work, throw a pair of gloves at each person, and be like, all right, you guys want to be children and you guys can't figure out your differences? Tonight in the rink, both of you, I have your shifts covered. Go fucking take care of your bullshit and come back ready to work together as a team. And that is, to this day, still one of the best management techniques I have ever experienced.
And he made money off selling tickets and bets.
I can speak from experience. I have gotten closer with a lot of friends I have made in the past by getting into physical, actual fist fights with them.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to get your frustrations out of the way, whether that's a verbal fight or a physical fight within reason, not killing each other. You just need to just get mad and just let your emotions out so you can process them.
Yeah, broke a dude's nose when we're still friends, apparently.
That's nice.
I mean, hey, one of my friends / coworkers, Anthony, at the till, he won't throw his receipts in the garbage. He'll throw them on the floor, and I keep telling him, "You throw your receipts on the floor one more time, I'm gonna fist fight you."
You throw your receipts on the floor, I'm gonna fist you.
No, fist fight him, because I'm the one that has to clean that shit up at the end of the night.
Yeah, you just show up with a pair of boxing gloves, you just throw his receipt on the floor, you throw the boxing glove in front of him, alright, throw down.
No, I'll just take him into the back, fight in the storage room, throw a bunch of boxes on him.
Just take the bin. No, you take your little pail and broom, whatever the fuck it's called. You sweep up all the things, and then you just dump them on top of him, and boom, there you go.
Although, speaking of work, it's funny. I actually got the same manager I got to watch JJK. I got her to start watching Vivy, and I think she's on episode 4.
Regardless, we're talking about Tokyo Avengers.
Well, we got to fist fighting, so
yeah, that's fair enough.
That's Tokyo Avengers.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I like how I knew he was a boxer the moment he took up that fucking stance. I'm like, we got a boxer, and then Paul's like, oh, we got a boxer, and I'm like, ha.
Yeah, I mean, he's like with that stance more of a kickboxer than anything.
No, that's classic American box.
American boxing? Okay, I don't know what like American boxing because I train boxing and him jumping around like that is fucking stupid.
Yeah, I know. I watched
The-
fucking or I played Punch Out.
Like jumping around like that. Boxing is all about having a solid fucking base.
Are we ready for cards though?
Is there anything else you guys want to bring up about this episode? Because we've talked about our dissatisfactions with it.
Well, you brought it up with Vivy, and I'll bring it up here. I do enjoy the different outfits they go through as well. Because they keep changing. Shonens like this would usually just have them in the same outfit every single time, but Mikey has gone through like 6, Takemichi has gone through like 5, Draken has gone through 3. And to be honest, like, I don't care for like the stuff Takemichi's wearing, but Mikey's outfit's fucking lit.
It's just a fucking Ronin.
Yeah, no, he looks badass. I love the fucking like top knot long hair. I'm trying to grow out the same thing myself, so I'm like respectable.
Oh yeah, like this show and JJK are two of the shows that I think do that the best, where they show you wearing different outfits. Like even Demon Slayer has the characters always wearing the same outfits, where it's like, come on, just wear other outfits, please, for me.
Man, I also was happy to see the boys back. We didn't see the boys in a bit, so it was good to see them, even if it was just like a little bit. These actual dumbasses. Also, I like how this show keeps asking this guy's in middle school as if the show is actually aware of its own bullshit.
Well, they're not even saying that about Takemichi. They're saying that about Mikey and Draken.
Yeah, Mikey. Yeah.
Yeah. As far as saying things we liked about this episode, I actually didn't have anything I liked about this episode.
Wow.
Other than like, there was a cool moment here or there. Like, I actually enjoyed how Pa did. Okay, I enjoyed, Pa doing the stabbing and turning himself in. That was interesting, but we didn't get a whole lot out of that. So it was more of a cool moment than anything.
It's a good story beat, and like a dude basically trying to murder this guy for what he did is like speaks volumes of how committed he is to his friend who had horrible fucking thing done to him.
And also, I was mistaken. I thought it was Pa's girlfriend that got raped and parents beaten, but no, it was his friend's girlfriend.
It was his friend.
His lieutenants?
No, like Pa's friend, who was also in the Tokyo Manja gang, but like Pa's friend is still laid out in the hospital, from what I can gather.
But yeah, with that though, is it okay if I hold up my card?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we're.
Next episode needs to be better. I almost didn't do what I was about to do, but I decided to give it one more episode, because if it doesn't get better and it still stays like this, like taking away from the drama by making everything a joke, continuing with the humor I don't like, and not giving me anything, it's going to be a knife. But today I'm going to give it a fuck.
Like, I don't think the show was good in most, like, the dude doing, like, the fight in general, the Pa can land a single punch, even if the dude's training boxing, like, in a delinquent, dirty fight, if you have any sort of fist fighting experience, even if you're going up against an experienced boxer, they're doing stuff that are regimented. You being a wild card can usually land a hit or two, even if it's not going to do much. And his boxing style, to me, being stupid as someone who has trained it, not for particularly long, but I know the proper stance you should have in boxing at least. And just waving your feet around like a fucking, like you're jumping around is not the way to do it.
I have to disagree. That is the way they depicted him. Boxing is a common depiction of boxing, having that twinkle toes kind of hands up, quick boom boom, left right is a depiction of boxing.
It's not the stance in boxing I learned, but okay. Either way, as all this with that one through, when the knife happened, Takemichi just screaming at the Draken and screaming at Osai. I don't remember his actual name, but I think it's something like that.
Osami or something like that.
Yeah, when he picked up the ball, screaming at him twice instead of running up to try and fucking protect Draken. When he knows if he dies, everything is fucked.
Yeah. I have to. Okay.
Takemichi getting fucking angry at the end. The promise of that and the promise of him maybe acting more is the only reason I'm watching the show more, and the only reason I'm fucking it. Because if he gets angry and just goes back to what he was before, I am not going to be pleased.
You brought up a point that I think I wanted to, but I forgot to bring up in the conversation, and it was that scene with Takemichi when he sees Osami pick up the bottle and rush toward Mikey, and Draken jumps in the way, and I thought, like, this is how fucking Draken dies. And he couldn't do anything about it. He just started screaming, but then fell over backwards. This kid just got the shit beat out of him, like, 5 minutes ago. So, like, I understand him being, like, concussed and fucked up. Like, he fainted as he was running. Because
he didn't even fall back. Takemichi was running, turned around, screamed again, but wasn't running forward to help him.
Oh, with the knife? Yeah, no, yeah. That, okay.
No, with the bottle.
No, the bottle, he was standing there.
Well, okay. Yeah, but still, like, he was able to move at that point.
Yeah, it was more that he didn't even try to get up or move. We didn't see him try to do anything. He just saw the bottle and screamed.
No, he did get up. He got up and he tried to, like, stop all the bullshit, and then he fell over backwards, indicating that he was fucked up.
Yeah, the bottle came out after he fell over backwards, and we didn't even see him try to get up again. He just stayed sitting down.
But that's what I'm saying. We were shown that he's fucked up. He's having a hard time moving. Plus, he's scared. He was legitimately scared. Takemichi still hasn't recovered from his whatever fucking traumas he had, so he's still growing and learning. He's still kind of a shitling. It's when he stands up for what he believes in. It's when he really, like, puts himself forward is what got Mikey's and Draken's attention.
I guess so. Well, continue with your thoughts on it.
Maybe they could have done a better job conveying it, but I didn't get the sense that he was, like, I didn't get a big sense of him being frightened. I more just got a sense of him just being like, "No, move out of the way!" Like, you know how shown it, you know, how Dragon Ball characters on look in battles going, "Oh my god, he's gonna hit him with the death beam!"
Yeah.
Like I said, the show is kind of indicative of old shonen. That's kind of what's been dragging it down for me.
Fair enough.
Well, continue with your card points, Stel.
Yeah, this episode is by far the weakest that we've seen thus far. We've kind of seen a lot of things that I complained about in previous episodes where it's just like things kind of happen and we just run with it. But at least then we were given more context and or were more entertained. The whole, like, absence of context for Mikey's and Dragon's conflict other than it's over Pa's actions and being arrested. Okay, what's there? That we should have kicked Pa's ass when he started beating up Takemichi, or we should have fucking stood there with him and get arrested too. Like, what the fuck is the conflict? However, yeah, this is not a good episode. Even when it ended, I remember being like, after I finished watching, I remember being like, this feels different from what I'm used to the show being. Like, this is not how I feel usually when I finish an episode of Tokyo Revengers. That being said, maybe I should knife this episode, but I'm not proud to say this, but I'm gonna fuck it, because that fucking cliffhanger with Takemichi going, Timmy! And the promise of Reiji Taka Reiji, god damn it, the show got me on the cliffhanger hook. I want to see what happens next. But to echo my co-host's statements, if this show is going to not give us the context when it's needed, ultimately undermining its own mystery, then I don't think I'm going to keep enjoying it. But let's see what next episode brings. I'm still going to fuck this episode because the fight was kind of cool. The drama was interesting. Man, was this a weak one.
Well, that's a trifecta for Tokyo Avengers, albeit hesitant. Let's
Undeserved.
move on to Shadow's House, Episode 7. The Elder Shadows continue watching the debut, while Lou and Patrick continue cutting through hedges, and Emiliko, Rum, and Sean solve puzzles. They eventually come across John and figure out some secret to the maps and go off to find their own shadows.
This is a video game.
A video game, yeah.
This was the first episode where I could see where you were coming from with
This is a video game.
Like,
Yeah,
I
definitely.
love the overworld theme. It's so good, but this is a video game.
Yeah, I do want to bring up a point that I got to while taking this particular screenshot of them sitting on the bench. I hadn't noticed like the canvas texture
Yeah.
shots during some of the scenes, but that it gives it such a brilliant feeling of the Victorian like Gothic style it's in, of just like it being a painting.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
I also love our three dumbasses.
Oh, they're so stupid and they're great. Even though one of them is not stupid. Fucking hell is Rum smart!
Rum's a genius! What?
Nah, I memorized it. Nah, I figured it out. I've already learned it.
She calculated the time!
Yeah, huh? What do you mean?
What about you, Meep? Are you blown away by
love
Rum's
John.
brilliance? Yeah, let's go.
I love John. He might be my favorite side character in this show.
I love how we got to see why he did what he did. I was like, oh, so fucking nervous. Oh, what did I do?
And then when they tell him that he can't be dirty, he's like, "What? No one told me this. What the fuck?"
Yeah, and he just started shooting more soot because he got so fucking pissed about it.
I do love that Sean is such a no-nonsense shadow.
You mean John?
No, Sean. Oh, yes, John. Sean's a shadow. Sean's the doll.
John is,
right.
Yeah,
Right.
John is shadow.
Fuck you and your naming conventions. Yeah, no. John is great. I thoroughly enjoy him, although I think he's a little too much at sometimes, but that's just part of his character and part of his flaws. I like that he went to Emiliko and was like, please don't tell your Shadow Master everything you heard today. And she's like, I won't.
Please. Please don't fucking ruin me.
I want to be the...
I love John with all of my heart, even like his quirks and all, because like sure there's some flaws, but like his flaws and how he acts comes from a well-meaning place, because he's nice to everyone in his own eccentric way, and he is just all around kind. Like the scene with Sean, where like, oh, you've got an awful casual with the Shadowmaster, and he's like, oh fuck, I'm sorry. And he's like, no, that's perfect.
Yeah, that's I love that. It's gonna make the other Shadow Masters very upset, but I still love it.
But at the same time, if we're honest with how John's personality is, that is how his doll should act.
I love how Patrick just keeps getting so scared of Lou, but then gets aroused, or not aroused, but like, what's the word?
They had a flustered, yeah.
Yeah, flustered is the word.
Yeah, flustered when she's really close. Like, just like, oh, you can kick my ass. I like that.
No, Meep, that's you. I think Ricky's whole shit is fucking... I think Ricky's whole shtick is the fact that what I said earlier is that he's actually a nice-ish guy. Just a Shadow Master's a fucking prick.
Yeah.
Like, I think he was genuinely worried when fucking Lou fucking Waka Waka'd her way off the fucking cliff.
Switch the still.
I am.
Yeah, no, I fucking saw that scene and I'm like, that's a perfect screenshot. Yeah, no, because he's like, what the fuck? He's like, is she dead? He just sees her sister's like, oh god, she's not fucking here. Like, picks it up just to be like, where is she? And then she just fucking crawls up on him and he's like, ah!
I also did enjoy the older Shadow Masters going like, well, if I were them, this is what I would do. Then the other two are like, well, they're not fucking you. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, they're just like,
they're like, oh, that's why no one likes you, and I'm
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm sure that's why no one likes you.
yeah, seriously. Fucking assholes. And it's interesting, right? Because there's obviously a tier system in the Shadow House because they have shadow servants, right? Like the map mage boy and the raven girl are obviously of lower standing.
Yeah, and we got this proof
What's
that
that?
the shadows, all the shadows basically have suit powers because we have seen both John's suit power of explosions and destruction, and the one that controls the map dolls in according to what they can see in the maze, and the one who can make a raven out of it.
Also, Dal, there's some crackling coming from your mic.
Yep, totally fucked up. Drop it back. Sorry.
Also, that scene where they're like, well, this is what I would do, but this is what I would do. And they're like, well, you're not them. That gave me so much fucking energy of the people going like, this anime would be better if this was done this way. Like people that have been criticizing Clover anime.
Okay, you didn't need to put this knife so deep in my chest.
There it is. Was waiting for it.
Well, no, it's a common thing that even I even do it with anime. Like fucking last season, there were times where I'm like, I would have done this differently in Skate because it would have felt like it would have been better for the story. Like I do it too.
Yep, and I just nod. I'd be like, yep, sure, boys. Whatever you say.
I mean, I'd rather do that than just simply say I'm dissatisfied with the way the story went.
Yeah, speaking of the Shadow Lords, like, god damn it, the two assholes are indeed ass hairs. Utter fucking dinkuses, and I don't like them. But that's good, because I'm not supposed to like them. Whether it be that sadistic prick, or, they're both sadistic in their own way, right? Hello?
Hi?
Yeah, they're both sadistic.
Okay.
Yeah. So what did you guys think of the Shadow Master scenes, and like where do you think that's gonna go?
I think it's going to go like with them being. I think they're more or less going to be puppet masters of certain situations because I don't see the debut taking place for the rest of the show. That would be a bit dragged out.
I don't
unless
know.
there's like different tests for the labyrinth.
Yeah, I don't know. This. Do you have your headphones in? Because I'm hearing my echo. I don't know about the whole like I did not expect this labyrinth to take this long. Like I thought it was going to wrap up this episode, but we're getting at least one if not two more episodes of this, which I am surprised. And it is obvious that we are getting like the first chapter of this series because it is taking its time and for its benefit. I liked seeing them go through these puzzles and the map with each like this episode we had like three revelations. Like the fire showing elevation, the dots indicating like the code of each person's master, the bunnies with the gates, and there was probably another one that I'm forgetting because I feel like there is. Like I love that shit. Like, give me more video game anime, please. Give me more puzzle solving.
You mean the things you're forgetting, like John's map being covered in soot, except for one place where a change of clothes most likely is that they haven't known yet, but that's what they're guessing. And that when fire is exposed to the map, it shows elevation.
Yeah, exactly. That's the elevation thing. Like I love this shit. It's super clever. Especially like I love puzzle design because like I myself haven't really gotten around to getting a knack for it yet.
Neither have I. This is I'll be perfectly honest, like I've kind of been off and on about Shadow's House. I'm like, I mean it's okay. I'm not that interested. I'm looking for when the more darker stuff happens and like but ever since the fucking debut started, I have been loving it.
Oh yeah, this has been a lot of fun with this show. I've really enjoyed it.
Emilica. The only way I can translate. That's the only transition I can have. Fucking Emilico.
Emilico, the sunshine idiot savant.
She's using the map as a napkin to peel the juicy oranges.
Yeah,
You fucking mook.
it is incredibly stupid. Like, yeah, I'll just spill orange juice all over this fucking valuable equipment I have.
Yeah, and then she fucking poured, like, she, like, started peeling it over the hole and fucking got orange juice all over Patrick's face, which, by the way, Patrick, fucking whiny little bitch baby that he is. We all knew it, and again, like, this episode, we got what we didn't get last episode, which was a really good expression of character. Well, last episode was good too, but this is, like, taking it so much further. And then fucking Emilico just peeling oranges and dropping pieces into his air hole. Just fucking this incredible dumbass.
You're just slapping him in the face with orange slices. Here you go, eat up. It's like, just every slice she drops in, we hear just,
I was waiting for the joke of her putting a whole orange in and getting it stuck in the air hole, and then it turns into a race against time to figure out the purple to get him out.
Fucking hell, yeah, here, have an orange.
It's just, and then gives him a flower, and then even Patrick, who's kind of like not kind of really high key as shit, is just like, wow, sunshine really suits her. And that really genuinely heartwarming scene where she hugs the crate and just Patrick feeling her warmth, just holds his hand out where she's holding her hand across the box, the crate, and just it was so good. It was so good.
It is so cute, and just she is like, even though they're like smarmy about it, yes, Sunshine is the perfect nickname for Emilico.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, this show is just really cute and fluffy when it wants to be, but when it wants to be too, it can be really cryptic and even dark at times. Like, the soot sickness episode will always be one of my favorites. Just fucking having her walking to the wall, turning, just going, that was genuinely scary. I was worried for her health there.
Oh man, yeah, no, that was bad. Yeah, you make a very good point. Yeah, I completely agree. The show does a very good balance. At first, I wasn't into it because I came in just expecting dark, but like, the darkness has been substituted with this very nice balance of like cryptic mystery that's slightly overbearing, like ominous. There we go. That's the word. Ominous, menacing. And just this like really cute, wholesome combination of like of character of this trio we've gotten plus others.
The darkest anime we have this season is a fucking idol anime. Let that sink in.
Huh?
Listen, no, I thought about it the other day. Vivy's does count as an idol anime.
Well, yes, because that's like literally first episode. I'm like, has Meep tricked us into watching an idol anime?
Because all idol anime do have a story outside of the music. It's just this one is less of a personal goal of getting to the top, and it's a whole completely different can of worms. But anyways, back to Shadow's House. Sorry for the tangent.
Yeah, I Emilico was great. At first, like, I think I finally like balanced out my nutritious I think I finally balanced out a nutritional breakfast with Emilico because she's literally just sugar bombs. It's fantastic. Just her relentless, like, the fact that we're starting to see not just relations between Shadow Master and Doll, but the fact that we're seeing like Emilico went to climb the tree. John was climbing the tree, and he's like, "Why'd you want to climb the tree, Emilico?" And she's like, "Well, because it's so high up and it looks like such a fun ride." Master John, why were you up in the tree? Well, because look at this. It's perfect for climbing. And Emilico's like, like nodding enthusiastically, like he gets it.
Yeah, no, and when Sean like, you understand him? I'm like, of course they do. They're on the exact same wavelength.
Yeah, fucking Sean going like, Emilico, since when have you been able to understand everything Sean says?
Like Sean, like John is just like more, like extroverted, outgoing, and just like pompous in a good way about his personality instead of Emilico's super outgoing sweetness and kindness. And it just kind of works in the same direction in a different way.
I like how he was like, even he said like, you don't seem like a good fit for Kate, and then she pouted. It's like, but on the other hand, a doll is a shadow's face, and that means Kate has an adorable side to her, just like you. And I love her even more now. And I'm like, God damn, this fucking dumbass. He's great. I like him.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I love him. Are there other points that you wanted to bring up? Or
Yeah, I
we
like
good for
how
now?
Sean and John have this almost brotherly relationship.
Yeah, like that one scene where just John puts an arm on Sean's
Exactly.
shoulder after everything's happening, just looks to each other, is like, ah.
Exactly that scene.
Yeah, like he puts an arm on his shoulder, and like John is looking at Sean, even though you can't see his face. It's clear he's giving him like the good going, bro.
Yeah. I mean, that rum smile. That one where she's
Oh.
like pouting and she goes, and it's just, yeah. Oh, my heart too. Just her just soft smiling when finally getting like praised for like something that she does, and just, you did it, Rum. You figured it out, and just from anxious anxious frown to soft anxious smile, and she looks up a little bit too.
Amazing.
Yeah, she looks up a little bit too, like
Amazing. Do I have anything more to talk about?
uh, Edward's a bitch.
He is. So we already knew that from last episode.
Yeah. Also, like,
I really like Edward though as the antagonist, because just him being like, can they be any more obnoxious with their messages? He's just so prim and proper, and he's fed up with everything.
It's
I like him.
it's
He's an
honestly
asshole,
amazing.
but I like him.
It's honestly amazing to me because he is, how do I put this? He's has a negative attitude toward the Shadow Masters, the great Shadow Masters, and for a doll to have that is unique. I know they say he's a special doll, but like he really is, isn't he? Like he also has a lot more personality than what we're told. Well, no. I think a lot of dolls have personality.
I do. I mean, the one that's seemingly perfect out of this group by their standard is Lou, though, the one who acts like she doesn't have a personality.
That scene was important. Yeah. With also again, shining moment for Ricky, surprisingly, right? When he sees Lou's bleeding and her legs all cut up because she fell into the bramble. Lou doesn't give a fuck because her master literally raised her. Like she's the most doll-like of the dolls, right? Is there anything wrong with my face? Like she didn't even realize like that she was doing something like intimate. She's just like, is there anything wrong with my face? Look close. And Ricky, being a boy, it's just and it's great to see Ricky get flustered because he's not, unlike Yumiko, he's actually not inflappable, which is good because that means he might have character growth and not be an insufferable shit. But he stopped and tied up her band. He knows first aid. He tied up. Maybe Patrick gets hurt a lot, but he bandaged up and performed triage, and that was cute.
And I mean, another part, like for the cloth he had for it, he probably had to sacrifice a suit, or pieces of it.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a very good in between episode. So I look forward. Which is again, did not expect this format. Do we? Oh, is there anything else we want, or can I just hold up cards?
No, we're going for cards. This is a good way into it.
We're going for cards, and also it's the 4 episodes took a little bit longer than I was expecting on a little bit of a time crunch. Sorry. This was supposed to be my one day off in 9 days.
Yeah,
but I'm getting pulled back in again, baby.
Exact the fucking fucking actually. That did not come out as good as it was, so I'm abandoning it. Anyway, this labyrinth thing is lasting longer than I expected. In such, the debut is lasting a lot longer than I expected, to the point where it really feels like this is going to be a long format show. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're banking on a second season or if this is just like, here's the establishing chapter of Shadow House, please go read the mango. But manga aside, or visual novel, whatever, or they'll make a game, because I'll fucking play the hell out of this. You guys can catch me, if Shadow House comes out with a game, you will see me playing it right here. But, regardless, this show's great. This is a great in-between episode, with the puzzles, with the character interactions and expressions, and already character growth. I'm fucking this show. Shadow House, you are while you are not what I wanted you to be, you are nonetheless, literally, nonetheless, in making me enjoy your content and the story and the music and setting. I'm here for this. Let's go.
I am also going to give Shadow's House the fuck yeah. No, this is one of the best surprises for me this season. I was not expecting myself to like this. I was expecting to hate it, but by the end of the first episode, it started to captivate me. By the end of the second episode, I was hooked. Third episode did even more for me. It's just been up, up, and up. And if this is one of our 4, possibly even 3 shows that lives to the end, or I guess 2, depending on both the shows that could be on the chopping block shit the bed. Yeah, no, I'm here for this show.
I mean, in the beginning, I was interested in what underlying darkness was beneath the show, and I was watching it to find out what that was, and I thought we were getting it. And as I watched the show move away from it, I even ended up killing an episode, and I kind of disheartenedly kept going, hoping we would get somewhere big and darker and more prolonged intensity with that. And then it pivoted and went this direction it has gone, much to my surprise and much to my joy, because this is better than I originally wanted it to be, and I am enjoying this debut so much. I'm fucking the show.
Yeah,
Actually,
to kind of.
I don't think you ever killed an episode. Looking through now, and yeah.
Oh yeah, I was going to kill an episode, but then you guys kind of talked me out of it.
Piggybacking off really quick off of what Marcus said, man, yeah, I'm realizing for the show to not only win me over with Emilico, because like I said, I enjoy Emilico, but she's too much. I've come around to her fully, and not only did the show win me over with Emilico, but through that, it actually did pivot me off of this like wanting, or not even wanting, because I still want it technically, but feeling like I need this dark hook, like I need this dark undertones, or at least like ominous force. And the way it's showing it to us is far less dramatic. Still works. Who would have thunk? But that's a trifecta. Yeah, let's go, Meep.
Trifecta for Shadow's House, and this is the first week nothing died. Would it be okay if we did a quick sign off and do Graveyard Tour next week?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Okay, I have been Soul_King777. You can see me on Twitter, being a gremlin. And I don't stream. The only thing I stream is here. My life is very sad.
Your life is sad just because you don't stream.
I've been joined by my co-hosts, Makan and Dalaron. Say goodbye, you two.
Goodbye. You can find me at that_Viking on Twitter if you so wish. I don't know why you would, but watch out for Meep's tweet, because I'm gonna fist fight him if he posts more slander about me.
You can find Meep at what he says, SoulKing_777, reposting lewds and compliments and positivity about his friends. And you can find me, Dalaron Quest, that's DALARON Quest, over here at Dalaron Quest on Twitch, or Dalaron Quest or DKD Rock over on YouTube, or Dalaron Quest on Twitter. Twitter, I do nature, D&D, and art. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We do have to make it a quick ending here, as impromptu time constraints. But we'll catch you guys next week.
I'm not the only one that's had those. Don't you at me.
Just really quick, you guys can catch me streaming on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Fridays, as well as occasionally on days in between. Mondays, today, we are doing our FMK podcast. Thank you guys for joining us. Catch us live over at twitch.tv/DalaronQuest on Mondays around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join the Discord. You guys will be able to know when we're going live. Tuesdays, we have a D&D campaign around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's more roleplay focused. Come by if you just want more slow burn kind of pacing. And Fridays, I do fighting games where I lose, hopefully learn, and possibly even win. Hence, it's called Lose, Learn, Win. Till then, bye, everyone.